The Dravidian megalithic cultures in South India. The earliest Dravidian culture in South India was the megalithic culture. There are over 400 megalithic sites in South India, which have been divided into 40 types of megaliths. The megaliths are burials surrounded by a circle of boulders. The major megalithic sites include Sengamida in South Arcot district, and Tirukampuliyur, Allagarail, and Urayur in the Tiruchirappalli district. Jagan, Ria, Sewell, and Bruce Foote were among the pioneers in excavating the megaliths. Sir Mortimer Willard speculated the megalith culture may have been taken to the Deccan by the Mauryas of North India. This theory later proved to be groundless because the contemporary cultures of the Mauryas in South India dates only to the 3rd century BC. Cholas, Pandyas, and Cheras had already known how to smelt iron. As a result, this industry could not have been taken to South India by the Mauryas, since ironworking was associated with the megalithic builders. Christoph von Führer-Heimendorf was the first scholar to suggest that the megalith builders were Dravidians. Heimendorf reached this conclusion because the inhabitants of the megaliths were of the Mediterranean stock, and that the distribution of South Indian megaliths and Dravidian languages were the same. Scholars have substantiated Heimendorf's claim of a Dravidian origin of the megalith builders. The megalith builders made fine black and red ware and smelted iron. This black and red ware has been found in thousands of Iron Age megaliths in South India. The skeletal remains recovered from urn burials indicate that the megalith builders of Adinchanallur in Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu were a mixture of dolichocranial and brachycranial elements. The major types found in the megaliths were Australoids, the Mediterranean or Dravidian type, and a brachycranial Armenoid type. This is an example of a Negroid type which once occupied much of Central Europe. The Adinchanallur skulls show that the main types were Australoid, Munda speakers and Mediterranean Dravidian speakers. The megalith builders had different types of funeral practices, including the rock-cut tombs of Malabar, the stone cis, and interments in terracottas, sarcophagi, and urns. Their common feature is the presence of similar black and red ware in the tombs. B.K.G. Rao has listed 9 megalith burial types. They are 1. Urn burials with or without standing stones in the form of a circle. Leg sarcophagi burials with or without stone circles. Pit burials. Stone dolmens. Dress slab cist burials. Subterranean rock-cut cave tombs of Kerala. Topicals or umbrella stone consisting of a round stone supported by 4 dress slabs, and kundayakals or hood stones, which mark the spot of the underground burial pit, also found in Kerala. Passage cist graves of Karnataka and menhirs. The megalith builders appear to have entered the Deccan by sea and by land. In Megalith areas, large urns, terracotta sarcophagi, and dominoid cists and portholes have been found. In association with the megalith, iron implements and polished black and red ware have been discovered. The South Indian megaliths are usually found in burials. The megaliths are usually found on rocky high ground, unfit for cultivation, and close by a hillock or irrigation project. The rock-cut caves of Kerala are local to the region, and this style remained confined to the western Ghats. The rock-cut tombs of Malabar were made almost like a house. T.B. Nayar described these tombs dating to the 8th to the 7th century BC as follows. I quote, "The front was carved from rock like a doorway. Through the opening, through the facade was small square into which a stone cut away at the edge was inserted to fit like a stopper. 2 or 3 steps from the opening brings one into a rectangular room, on 3 sides of which stone benches like beds had been made." Unquote. Many scholars accepted a Dravidian origin for the megalithic culture. because the megaliths followed the path associated with the spread of the Dravidian languages. The Sapata Brahmana 13815 and 13921 mentions that round funerary burials of the Asuras. The Sangam literature also mentions megaliths and megalithic type burials. The megalithic culture is tentatively dated between 1100 and 450 BC. The South Indian megaliths, due to their association with iron artifacts, is usually considered to be an Iron Age culture. As early as 1700 BC, black and red ware users were already settled at Tekalakota. These people were farmers. They grew rice and herded cattle. The Neolithic burials in South India were in urns. There were also Dravidians using black and red ware at this time in Baragamai-giri and later in Tungabhadra Valley. Wheeler believes that the black and red ware of Maski and Baramagiri has roots in Saurashtra and Rajasthan, and this would support the theory of an overland migration of the Proto-Dravidians of the Harappan civilization in South India in response to changing environments in North India. The Dravidians in megalithic times practiced agriculture and herded cattle. Their main crop was rice, millet. Tank irrigation was used to store water for the grains. In addition to goats, sheep, and cattle, the megalith builders domesticated the horse. The remains of a horse was recovered at Junapanai near Nagpur. This, in addition to the recovery of iron horse bits, indicate the Dravidians had already domesticated the horse. The pottery is black and red. The black and red pottery of the megalith was black on the inside, red outside. The black usually extended over the rim to the top edge of the exterior. The black and red wares represent a variety of shapes and sizes, including bowls, dishes, jars, vases, lids, and 3-footed jars. Much of the pottery had graffiti on it. The megalithic builders had considerable knowledge of mining and metallurgy. They explored the rich iron ore deposits of Mysore, Hyderabad, and Madras. Numerous iron implements have been discovered in the megaliths. They include arrowheads, nails, pins, daggers, swords, crowbars, axes, chisels, spades, hoes, tridents, bells, and etc. Other megalithic culture items were made of terracotta, especially 3 and 4 laid vessels. These laid vessels were found in shaft graves in Kerala and dolmens in Tamil Nadu and Mysore. The sarcophages were terracotta coffins with elephantine legs and upper lid. The sarcophages were usually oblong in shape. The Dravidian megalith builders lived in large urban centers during this period. Defensive fortifications were built around towns to safeguard the people from attack. Due to agricultural needs of the megalith builders, the dead were buried in areas away from the land, on foothills in rocky and barren areas. Many of the megalithic tombs seem to have been family or communal burial sites. This is supported by the fact that as many as 40 to 50 burials have been found in a single megalithic tomb. The megalith builders, in addition to having iron building houses, they also had writing. There is considerable body of evidence which indicates that the megalith builders had a script. There is clear epigraphic data which links the megalithic builders of Harappans. For example, B.B. Lal, who has conducted excavation in India and Nubia, has illustrated not only the fact that the graffiti on many South Indian sites relates to the Harappan writing, but that it also relates to writing that may have existed in Africa. Some of the common talisman on megalithic potteries are the following. Here you can see a picture. It reads, Eta, bring abundance. Ve, blossom abundance. Ietu, give increase in virtue. The inscription on the megalithic pottery which called for God to give them greatness, virtue, rectitude, or shining. So we find in a sense that the Dravidians during the megalithic period in South India were great civilizing elements. These Dravidians left us many monuments to show their success and civilization as people of a